Hello, today is June 6th. I know it's been a while since my last video, but yeah, it's been a lot's been happening in the last couple of weeks. First of all, I have a book haul. Yet another book haul. There's more books. There's more books. I know. I tend to get a lot of books, but here we go. I got this one. This one. I got four today. This one is one that I've seen the movie that it was based on. This was a 1955 movie, which tells you the age of the book probably. And it was John Steinbeck's East of Eden. John Steinbeck's, I don't know if you can see the cover properly, there you go. Anyway, it's a bit bright. Anyway, there is only one book to a man, Steinbeck wrote of East of Eden, his most ambitious novel. Set in the rich farmland of Salinas Valley, California, this powerful, often brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. Here, John Steinbeck created some of his most memorable characters and explored his most enduring themes, the mystery of identity, the inexplicability of love, and the murderous consequences of love's absence. John Steinbeck's East of Eden. I thought that was a brilliant... No, I haven't read the book, but I have seen the movie, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Now, another book that was turned into a movie. All four of these books are books that have movies been turned into movies. Now, this particular book is the movie that's based on it is quite a cultural icon of a movie. So this is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, or Casey, or whatever you pronounce it. For those of you who have never heard of this, I'll read you the blurb on the back. Tyrannical Nurse Ratchet rules her ward in an Oregon State mental hospital with a strict and unbending routine. Everyone knows about Nurse Ratchet. Unopposed by her patients who remain cowed by mind-numbing medication and the threat of electric shock therapy. This is like set in the 70s, like 60s and 70s, so it's like, well, you can expect that. But her regime is disrupted by the arrival of McMurphy, the swaggering, fun-loving trickster with a devilish grin who resolves to oppose her rules on behalf of his fellow inmates. His struggle is seen through the eyes of Chief Bromden, a seemingly mute half-Indian patient who understands McMurphy's heroic attempt to battle with the powers that keep them imprisoned. Ken Kesey's extraordinary first novel is an exuberant, ribald, and devastatingly honest portrayal of the boundaries between sanity and madness. So that's interesting. I'm looking forward to reading that one. Now, this third one I only just discovered recently, both as a book and that it has also been turned into a movie. Now, excuse me. I discovered that it was turned into a movie, and I was reading about the movie, and I thought, this is interesting. And then it was mentioned somewhere that it was recently, it was a book. So I thought, okay. So I decided to purchase the book. It's called The French Lieutenant's Woman by John Fowles. Charles Smithson, a respectable, engaged man, meets Sarah Woodruff as she stands on the cob at Lyme Regis, staring out at sea. Charles falls in love, but Sarah is a disgraced woman, and their romance will defy all the stifling conventions of the Victorian age. Widely acclaimed since publication, this is the best love of John Fowles' novels. The French Lieutenant's Woman by John Fowles. So I thought, I'll get that one. Now, this fourth one, I've saved this one for last because this particular novel I have read before, but I have been, I don't know, I just never had the opportunity to get a copy of it until just now. I saw the movie before I read the book, which some people would disagree, that's the wrong way. But I saw the movie, fell in love with it, read the book, and then fell in love with it even more. And it is Amy Tan's The Joy Luck Club. Now, this book of all the books I have ever read in my life, this book has affected me the most. So far, of all the books that I have ever read in my life, this book is the only book to have ever made me cry. Yes. This book made me cry when I first read it. I first read it when I was about 19 or 20. I'd seen the movie a few years beforehand, and I'd absolutely loved it. And then the first time I'd borrowed a book from a relative of mine and read it, and I fell in love with it and I cried. And it was the most beautiful story. I'll read the back of it. Here we go. In 1949, so it's just after World War II, 4 Chinese women, recent immigrants to San Francisco, meet weekly to play mahjong and tell stories of what they left behind in China. United in loss and new hope for their daughters' futures, they call themselves the Joy Luck Club. Their daughters, who have never heard these stories, think their mother's advice is irrelevant to their modern American lives, until their own inner crises reveal how much they've unknowingly inherited of their mother's pasts. And I read the book and absolutely fell in love with this beautiful, emotive story. And I thought it was absolutely so emotional, heart-rending story. And I cannot recommend this book enough. Honestly, this is the most beautifully written, heartwarming, heart-rending story. And I don't know, I just can't describe how it has so much meaning, and a lot of it is symbolism and representation, and it's a beautifully written story, and like the quote here says, pure enchantment. It's pure enchantment. Absolutely beautiful. And I love it. I love this story. And I give this one 10 out of 10, this story, honestly. So, yes. Here's my book haul. Also, recently, the last couple of days, what's today? Thursday. Monday, I enrolled in a course with the Queensland Justices Association to become a Justice of the Peace. Although they allowed 12 weeks for the course, I'm about halfway through it already, even though it's only been a few days. Because I'm finding a lot of this stuff in my head I know already. So it's like, well, okay, because I had a friend of mine who also became a justice of the peace. So I know a lot of the stuff already. So I've managed to power right through some of the stuff, but I'm finding it really interesting, and I can't wait to finish the course and pass it and become a justice of the peace. And so cool. I reckon I'll be good at it. So yeah, and then a friend of mine on Monday went away on a 10-day trip to Thailand, and she's having a good time over there. I won't. To protect her identity, I won't say who she is, but she's a very close friend of mine, and she's been on holiday to Thailand. But not to divulge too much about her, she has been through a rough time over the last couple of years, a very rough time, with certain issues going on in her life that I won't really talk about. But to suffice it to say that she has been through a very, very rough time over the last few years. And she's now, her and her family, she's got a little 3-year-old boy. And her and her little boy and her parents are on a 10-day or 12-day trip to Thailand for roughly all a week and a half. So she's there. I'm happy for her because she's got on this trip of a lifetime, and she's a holiday break, and she needs this as a good thing in life to sort of move on with her life. It's like a healing process for her, I think. It's a healing process. She's at a point now where she needs to have that time to heal and to sort of move on with things. And then she's, life is definitely beginning to look up for her, and I'm very happy for her. And she was there for me when I needed someone, and I was at a very vulnerable time in my life, and she was there for me. So I'm happy for her now that she's got this time for herself, and it's a wonderful experience. So she's one of she's my bestest, closest friend ever. She is, and I reckon she's brilliant. So yeah. Other than that, things are going all right for me. I've got some appointments, several specialist appointments at the big hospital in Chermside. The Prince Charles Hospital in Chermside it's the big major cardiac hospital in the north side of Brisbane. And I got one appointment with the cardiac clinic and another one with the sleep clinic. So that's coming up. So that's good. I think I'm managing. As many of you know, I was sick last year where I almost died. I had respiratory arrest. And I've been diagnosed with some heart conditions and a lung condition, and I now have to have regular specialist checkups at the Prince Charles Hospital for these conditions. And so, yeah, I'm getting on top of things, and I've got my medications and my specialist checkups, and I've got a regular GP that I regularly see for him, and it's all good. So life's going good, and yeah. Anyway, I suppose I better get on with things. I encourage everybody to live with passion.